Hello, K5ENB here. Today I'd like to show you how to drive RGB pixels using serial and sACN drivers through LightShowPi. First I'd like to get serial going. So you will need either an AllPixel device or an Arduino of some sort. The AllPixel is very much plug and play. The Arduino requires some configuration, uploading a sketch, that sort of thing. I'm assuming that you're somewhat familiar with those actions, so I won't go through them here. But as you can see from the picture, the default sketch has the digital 2 line set for the data line that we will use for the pixels. Most of the pixels that we're talking about here will be 3-wire. Of course, ground plus 5 volts and a data line. And this data line is what's hooked up to pin 2 on the Arduino. The AllPixel is very similar. Now for the configuration of LightShowPi. Let's assume you have a clean install of LightShowPi. You just logged in, you're the Pi user, cd LightShowPi. Then from here you can cd to config and take a look at the contents here and copy defaults CFG to overrides CFG, and here we're going to use the LED config, so copy LED1 defaults config to LED1 config. That can really be any name as long as it is defined in overrides. So we'll take a look at overrides.cfg. And if I can find it quickly here, LED config, that new file that we just created. And save that. Now, to save a little time, I already configured my overrides.cfg file to take in a stream, an IceCast stream for testing purposes. So, didn't figure I needed to show that here. The important thing to do now is to edit your LED1.cfg file, and you can see there are a few different options in here. First one to deal with is we don't want sACN, we want serial. It is a strip that we're dealing with. The strip type is WS2812B in this case. Channel order can be changed, but I won't do that now. Mirror allows you to mirror the GPIOs that are coming across. So 8 channels will match up to the 8 GPIOs that are set by default in the overrides.cfg. Lower the max brightness to 50%. 1 pixel per channel, so only 8 will light up. Basically, the total number of pixels that you want to use is per channel times LED channel count. In this case, 1 times 8. We can leave the rest of these as default for testing. sACN, this does not apply, this does not apply, that does not apply. Serial device. Now, device ID is going to be 0. This only applies to AllPixels. Now, if you look at the README in the Arduino folder, you will see that you want to do an LSUSB to get the device ID of your Arduino. You'll also need the serial port, which is a TTY, and if you do an LSL dev TTY ACM, see you have a TTY ACM 0, and this is the device address. So we'll go back over and put those in. So back in this file, we do dev TTY ACM 0 and the hardware ID, which we just found. Alright, baud rate can be left alone, update throttle can be left alone. These are for matrix only. So we should be all set. Saved. Now last step, go back to the LightShowPi directory and sudo python synchronize lights.py for a test. Let's see what happens. Seems to work. Let me show you what it looks like on the Arduino. Alright, well, I won't go through the details about setting up an ES Pixel stick, but this is what the device setup page looks like. I've chosen a universe boundary of 300 and a pixel count of 288. The universe in this case is going to be 100 pixels. So with pixel count of 288, that really spans 3 separate universes. But the code can auto increment and handle that just fine. There's some other configuration settings here, but I'll leave that to you. Okay, now time to edit our config file for sACN. And since overrides is still pointing to this file, we can use it. Change this to sACN. It's still a strip. This is ignored. This is ignored. We're going to change this because we set pixel count to be 288. We want 8 times 36 equals 288. Now, if in the ES pixel stick configuration you set the pixel count to something lower, then you can do that. If we don't do this, then some strange things will happen on the strip, but that's about it. Leave all this the same. The only other thing that's critical here is the sACN address, which is the address on your network of the ES Pixel stick. That's what it is in my case. Now, universe boundary we set to 300, so we'll just set this to 300. Universe start is 1, and that's it. Save that. Now, this box contains this black box beneath the spool of pixels contains a much larger power supply, 5-volt power supply, so that we can actually drive 288 of them. This is a 300 spool, so let's run it. And there you go. That's the particular effect that was chosen. And Turn up the music. Same music. Anyway, that's it. One final note before I go. In the overrides.cfg file where you define your LED1.cfg, you could also, as is shown in the comments, define another LED configuration file, which could be completely different from your first one. So LED1 config could potentially control an Arduino. LED2 config could potentially do sACN, and when the code is executed, the two will run in parallel, so both will be active. This could lead to some interesting things. You could do multiple Arduinos, a mixture of things. But anyway, I'll wrap it up here. Any questions? Go to the LightShowPi community, and I'll see you there.